I'm going to start with a new series with this video, and this is partly because, like so many other places, I'm currently in the middle of lockdown, and it's meant that I haven't been able to go outside and do any filming or visiting of any actual sites. So what I thought I'd do is start to do a series of videos where I'm reviewing natural history museums, as well as review a few other places that I've been to that have a very special significance within natural history. So the first one I thought I'd go through is one that's reasonably local to myself. It's the Lapworth Museum in Birmingham. Now the Lapworth Museum dates back to roughly 1880 and is associated with Birmingham University, run by Birmingham University, and is named after Charles Lapworth, who was the first professor of geology at Birmingham Uni. I did go to the museum probably 20 years ago, close to 20 years ago, and changed a little bit since then. It had a refurbishment back in 2016. And it's a cracking little museum just on the side of that university. I went there last year, and it's quite easy to get access to the museum. The museum's open most days, or at least it would be if it wasn't in lockdown conditions. The museum itself is free to enter, and even though it's on the university campus, it is open to the general public. And the best way to get to it is to go via train, to be honest. Get off at the train station at Birmingham University, and it's a 5-minute walk from the train station in towards the campus. So when you first enter the museum, the most prominent feature you'll notice is the skeleton of a 9-metre long Allosaurus that dominates the room. It's a fantastic mounted skeleton of Allosaurus fragilis, the North American theropod. And flanked on either side are the classic wooden display cabinets that are very, very familiar with anybody that's ever been to a natural history museum. And these displays explain what geology is and how geology develops as a science, a little bit along with explaining what fossils are, and things like a few elements, things like engineering geology within there. One of the features I quite liked about the museum is in the main hall. They have a series of displays going through the different geological time periods from the Precambrian up to the Pleistocene. In particular, there's a big focus upon the local geological aspects. A lot of the fossils come from the West Midlands, Shropshire, Herefordshire, Warwickshire, Gloucestershire. A few going towards the East Midlands from Nottinghamshire, so there's a big emphasis on the local geology from central England. There are some pieces from elsewhere. There's quite a few trilobites from Morocco, for example, in some of the display cases, but a lot of the fossils that are on display are from the centre of England and going into a little bit of Wales. To start off with the Precambrian, we've got a wonderful wall slab of the fossil Charnia, which is, how to describe Charnia, a unusual animal, part of what's become known as the Ediacaran biota. And Charnia was one of the first fossils that had been found in Precambrian strata. So a wonderful fossil of that, and as well as a few other fossils from the Precambrian, including some stromatolite fragments. So from the Cambrian, again, there's that emphasis on the local geology. There are some pictures of some of the works that were done at Comley Quarry, which is in Shropshire, on that side of the hill, Carcaradoc. And Comley Quarry, they found some of the first Cambrian trilobites. These are all Shropshire trilobites, these ones. Now sadly I don't have any of these in my own collection. I'd love one. I'm not gonna lie, I'd love one of these fossils in my own private collection, but we haven't found anything like this yet. The Ordovician period, however, they do have, they've got some fossils of some graptolites, but they do have a much more complete example of the fossil trilobite that I found in Betton Dingle, Ogogenus cordensis. This one happened to come from Wales, and it gives you an idea of what my one would have looked like, because this is a complete fossil, whereas my one's missing the head of the trilobite. Really going through to the Silurian period, again, a lot of local interest. There's plenty of fossils of a trilobite that's known colloquially as the Dudley bug, being found in the quarries around Dudley, Wren's Nest. So again, Silurian trilobites that are all from the local area, some more Silurian fossils that came from the West Midlands. The Devonian display has fossils, trilobites from Morocco. Carboniferous is a big part of the West Midlands area with all the coal measures, so the Carboniferous display is understandably quite large. We've got quite a lot of fossil plant material in the display, along with a fossil trackway of a ancestral reptile. Permian Triassic display, understandably, is a little sparse, a couple of fossils. We've got some nice ammonites in the Jurassic display, along with a femur from the sauropod dinosaur Cetiosaurus, and this one in particular comes from Gloucester. A few ammonites from the Cretaceous, and then the Pleistocene we've got Quaterno, remains from mammoths and Megaloceros. The main hall has a nice simplified display of the Tree of Life, along with the simplified Tree of Life of human ancestry there as well. One of the features I really liked actually in this museum was something that's on the side of the main hall, and that is the rock wall. And the rock wall contains a whole series of larger slabs, samples of rocks from the different types. So they've got them in sedimentary, metamorphic and igneous rocks. And they're a wonderful display case. You can see them both sides. There is a guide there, so it'll help you identify the rocks. Just gives you an idea of the wide variety of rock samples that can be found, and that not all rocks are the same. It's visual. It's some of the lower down ones you can actually touch, so it's quite tactile, and it allows people to really get up close to the geology and to really feel it and get to know it. And it's a great display. I really like the idea of the rock wall. Now, and then you go up onto the maisonette on the upper floor, and there is a fantastic, absolutely gorgeous display. I spent admittedly far too long here than I probably should have done. Display of minerals, and they've got some absolutely fantastic pieces, and they've decided to arrange them by colour rather than by type. So, because, yeah, believe it or not, there are species of minerals, for a better phrase, and just some fantastic displays of just the different wide variety of minerals that are found within the earth, and some cracking display samples. I'm very, very envious, I'm not going to lie, of some of the samples that they've got on display here. I'd love something like this. And on the reverse side of the mineral gallery, they've got a very, very well done display, I think, explaining minerals and explaining how we classify minerals, so related to things like their density, wasn't the fraction cleavage, their hardness, the luster, the colour, the streak, etc. And how the crystals form on a molecular level, and how these relate to things like the shape and the other characteristics of the minerals. And it's a very, very nice display. It's very visual, it's very colourful, and it's very, what's the word I'm after? Accessible. So you don't need to be a geologist to understand this display and understand how minerals work and how we understand what minerals are. And of course, as part of that display, there is the fluorescent minerals which glow under UV light, and different frequencies of ultraviolet light will cause them to luminesce. Having been around quite a few natural history museums, pretty much every one of them has got a display very, very similar to this, because it's a very easy display to set up. You get some of your samples, you get a black light, job's done. It's really nice and simple. And that's the Lapworth Museum. It is a small museum, and if you're a big nerd like me that's into geology, you will go in there, you'll be in there for a couple of hours reading every little detail, make all sorts of notes about things, which is what I was doing. If you're a much more casual geologist, then you'll probably be there for about an hour or so. If you're ever in the Birmingham area, it's a nice little museum to go to. And that's the Lapworth Museum.